Season 2 of the Telltale's The Walking Dead video game is the best season in all of the seasons that Telltale made in The Walking Dead. Now let me explain. You got a lot of people hating on the season. You got a lot of people leaving the season in the back. And it's actually insane. I see most people's rankings the exact same. It's always season 1 first, season 4 second, season 2 third. That's always how the ranking goes. But season 2, to me, is the best season in The Walking Dead. Now, of course, I love season 1 and season 4, and I even am a fond New Frontier enjoyer. Even though everybody hates and shits on New Frontier, I really like it. But season 2 takes the cake for me, and there's a lot of reasons why. One of the main reasons is I actually enjoy playing as Clementine more than playing as Lee for one reason or another, but Clementine is more of an interesting perspective. They don't really get to see much in video games and in zombie video games, period. You're playing as a little girl who's abandoned by everyone that she knows, everyone that she's become accustomed to being around, and you basically start out by yourself. You gotta fight fucking walkers and dogs and humans and all this stuff. And I think it's a really interesting perspective, so much so as almost a better perspective than in season 4, to where she's more grown up. But season 2, she's still like, 10? Or 9 or something like that. It is kind of convenient how all the adults in the group do expect you to do everything, even though you're a child, like climb through fucking tunnels, kill people, kill zombies, put yourself first before the whole group in terms of risking everything, which is pretty convenient considering you're a little girl, but it's all for the character development. You know, your main character, that's who you're playing as, so of course that's why they're doing it. I really enjoy where the majority of the game takes place, where you're kind of starting in the forest, you go to the cabin, then you go to the big cabin, then you go to the Carver's place, and everywhere that it takes you really fits everything. I think the slowest part of the game is probably the Civil War area. That's probably my least favorite part of the area, or the game, I'm sorry. But everywhere else, I really love being. Because season 4, you're kind of stuck at the school the whole time. And I'm like, brother, what's that, brother? And season 1, I didn't enjoy the scenery that much as season 2. It was still good, but not as good as season 2. I will admit, the characters in season 2 are not as good as season 1 and season 4 characters. But season 2 characters do offer a good amount of entertainment and, you know, interesting things that happen. Like Nick just really pisses me off. And there's people that really piss me off, like Carver. Carver is the best villain in any Telltale The Walking Dead game, period. Carver is the best villain. They should have kept him around for a couple more episodes, but you really grow to just hate him. And Michael Madsen did an amazing job at making you hate him, his voice and just everything about him. Of course, my favorite moment in this whole season is when you see Kenny. When you see Kenny and he thought he was dead, that's just such a chilling moment. Everyone who played this game loves that moment. And it was so good that Telltale had the balls to do something like this and to bring something like this in the game. Because a lot of other games, you know, they'll just move on, whatever. But they brought Kenny back in such a good way to where you're going to find out, you guys, you know, the cabin's actually being occupied. And then, boom, Kenny's right there. And it's just so amazing, so awesome to bring back old characters that you love and bring him back, and you get to play with him throughout the whole season and give the choice to, you know, do you want to side with Kenny when he's going a little crazy, or do you want to, you know, go against him? I just love everything about that and how Kenny becomes a big part of the season, more so than he was in season 1. I've also heard some people say that season 2 doesn't really have a good direct plot. Like, there's no real reason for the whole game. They're just kind of wandering around, going from place to place. I do understand what they're saying, but they're telling a story, dude. It's all about the story. It doesn't really matter, like, oh, well, what's the point of this and that? The story is amazing. That's all that matters. And that's why I think season 2 is way better than any other season. Season 1 was great. Great plot, great everything, great characters. But season 2 just brings that Walking Dead vibe so much more than I wanted from season 1. And it just gives us such a dark feeling. The whole season is dark. The entire season, everybody dies. Everybody leaves you behind. There's sad endings, there's good endings, but even the good endings are still sad. The whole season is so damn dark that when you play this game, if you play it for a few more hours, when you turn it off, you're like, damn, it still sticks with you. The darkness just sticks with you. One of my favorite parts for me was when we kill Matthew on the bridge, and then we go up to meet Kenny and Walter and the rest of them, and we finally realize that the person we killed on the bridge was Walter's, you know, significant other or whatever. And when that is discovered, that is probably one of the craziest things ever in The Walking Dead. I remember when I was playing it, I didn't even know, because there was a bunch of clues that the person you killed on the bridge was Matthew, the person they were talking about. They kept bringing him up randomly, without any real reason. So I was kind of like, why do they keep bringing him up? But it didn't connect with me. I'm not that smart. It didn't connect with me instantly until I saw the knife was taken. And then I was like, oh, that had to have been him. That just had to have been him. Really one of the best moments. And also the moment where the Raiders or Carver's people come and take over the cabin and that whole hostage situation. I love that moment. These are the moments that I really want to see in The Walking Dead instead of just sitting around doing nothing. I love these moments. And this game has a perfect combination of fighting against walkers and fighting against people. To whereas if I feel like in season 4, it was a little bit more, I'm not sorry, season 4, A New Frontier was a little bit too much leaning towards fighting people and not so much walkers. And, season 1 is still pretty good balance too, but season 2 balanced it the best to where there's a bunch of situations with the walkers and there's a bunch of situations with other people like Carver and Jane and Kenny and all that stuff. And honestly, it's amazing. A lot of the choices in this season are pretty interesting. Of course, some of them don't matter at all, and some of them do matter. And I think that towards the end, Jane is probably one of the worst downfalls of this game. They try to make you care about Jane so damn much. She's like, my sister this, my sister that. It's hard out here. You gotta survive, blah, blah, blah. And she's just, her voice actor too is just not good. Her character isn't good. And I want to blame the voice actor, but Jane as a character is literally horrible. It would have been so much better if they had Luke against Kenny and you had to choose between both of them. That would have been a way crazier decision, but no, they put Jane in there for some reason, and no one really likes Jane, and they just try and try and try to make you side with her and like her, and the whole game tries to make you go against Kenny, and it just pushes you in that direction to where Kenny's going crazy, and it gives you an option. Do you want to side with Kenny or go against him? And you always want to side with him. I mean, come on, Kenny's the best, one of the best characters in The Walking Dead, if not the best. And they're like, well, Jane might be right, blah, blah, blah. Jane's going to pretend to kill the baby, and then we'll see how crazy Kenny gets. And it's just so stupid how they go with Jane the whole time and try to make you like her. That's the main thing about this game that brings it down, but it still stays at the top spot. I forgot to mention this, but the game comes out strong. It starts strong. You're with Krista and Omid, and then boom, instantly Omid dies. And then it's pretty dark. You move on later, and boom, Krista's instantly gone, or she's dead, or whatever happened to her. And then you're just by yourself, and then boom, a fucking dog. You gotta kill this damn dog. And it starts out so strong and so dark. You're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be some dark ass shit. Another thing that I do not like about this game, this season in particular, is everything is so fast. Everything is so fast paced. Like, the second you meet the group at the cabin, boom, you're already dipping from the cabin. The second you go to the big lodge where Kenny is, boom, you're already out of there. And it just moves around so quick. You get to the Carver's camp, boom, you move out of there. It's really, really fast paced, and I kind of don't enjoy that. I wish we could have seen more of the Carver's place, and I wish we could have seen more of the lodge that we were at when we got on top of the hill. It could have had like an extra 10 to 20 minutes of story and just looking around and stuff like that. But it feels like everything's moving on super duper quick. And I'm not sure why they did that exactly. I don't know if they just want to make the game shorter or what it was. But you can see that everything did move on quick, especially when Carver dies. It feels like Carver wasn't meant to die at that moment. And it kind of was almost too easy when you guys got him, when you killed him. But it's still very satisfying to kill him. It was still very fun, and but it does move around really quick. That's one thing that I think season 1 definitely did better, was pacing. The pacing was definitely on point in season 1 to where everything didn't feel too long or too short, besides the train scene. That one was way too long. But everything felt like paced almost perfectly to where you're like, okay, I'm kind of done with this area now. And then by the time you're done with that area, like you got bored of it, they're already moving you on to the next place. In this one, it does pace pretty quickly, uncommonly quickly. One of my favorite endings to an episode is when you guys are getting bombarded or getting raided or ambushed, whatever, by the Russians and Arvo. And then you look up and then you see Rebecca's a zombie. She's literally a zombie while she's holding her newborn baby in her hands. That is one of the best moments, the best endings to an episode Telltale has ever made. I was just like, what's going on when I saw that. And that was really a good way to end that episode. Another part that I liked was when you guys are walking through the snow and you stop at like that power field or the power facility, whatever it was. You guys are sitting there, Kenny's holding the baby and the group's around the fire and all that stuff. I really did enjoy that part too. That was one of the only parts where it's felt like uplifted. It felt kind of positive. Not too much crazy drama is going on, not too much darkness is going on. Just for a second, though, everyone's gathering around the fire, telling about their past and stories and stuff. And then, boom, right after that, shit gets dark quick. But I did enjoy that moment. Now, this is a very controversial opinion right here, but I do think Season 2, if you play it the way that I played it, that Season 2 has the better ending than Season 1. Yes, I did say that. I think Season 2's ending when you go with Kenny to Wellington and then you have to basically leave him because Wellington will take you and just AJ, but they said no Kenny. And when you do that ending where you go inside Wellington and Kenny leaves, I think that is the best ending, period. No doubt in all of Telltale. For sure, 100%. I love that ending so much, and it's so dirty what they did in Season 3, New Frontiers. I'm not even talking about that. I don't even want to get near that. That's not even canon. That cannot be canon. But that ending, when you leave him and you have no idea what happens to him, but you know that Clementine and AJ are safe in Wellington, just a perfect ending. Honestly, that's why I love this game. It has a great start. It has a great ending. I love the villain. Carver is an excellent villain, the best villain. He's one of the best villains in gaming, period, honestly. You just really do hate him. Another part that I hate/love about this season was the ice lake. The ice lake was just, it was good, but it was stupid at the same time, where everyone's walking across the ice lake, and you already know what's going to happen. You already knew someone was going to fall in the damn ice lake. And of course, it had to be one of the best characters in the season, Luke. Of course, it had to be him. So Luke falls in the ice, and it's really a heartbreaking moment because Luke was a good character. Luke really did. He was really compelling. He was very charismatic. He was a good character, and it sucked to lose him because you're like, oh, well, we're not going to get any more of that character. But we have Jane, right? Yay, Jane. That's a part that I love/hated. But the tense, it is so tense when you're walking across the ice lake and you got to figure out what should I do. And I never pause my game when I play The Walking Dead or any Telltale game. I never pause my game to give me a second to think about it. I never go on Reddit. What happens if I do this? I don't do that. I just click what I'm going to do. And I thought there was some parts where you could save Luke. And then after I played the game, I did look it up. Can I save Luke? Nope. There's no way you can save Luke. Luke falls in the ice no matter what. And you can either go in there and fall in there with him, try to save him, or you could just leave him. Either one. But I like the part where Bonnie dies. I hate Bonnie. That's another thing. Bonnie is the worst Walking Dead character ever. I hate her so much. I'm so glad that she died. And honestly, this is a side note, but Carlos gets too much hate. Carlos really does get too much hate. Everyone says, oh, we don't know anything about him. He's mean. He's blah, blah, blah. But Carlos, the way he dies, it is sad. It is pretty disappointing. I think I did like him. I did like him a little bit. He was level-headed character. He's really in the middle character. But I did like him as a character. And it did suck to see him go out like that. But, he does get way too much hate. What makes Season 2 the best season in The Walking Dead Telltale is the fact that Kenny is just my favorite character, period. So the way we got to see Kenny and explore him and make our decisions with him, that made it for me. And also just the environment and moving around to all these cool places and seeing all this cool tense stuff, that also made it for me. Season 4, the final season, it was a little bit too much of the school for me. And season one's great and all, but I feel like it didn't explore everything as much as it could have. It didn't give me as much tensity as it could have. I feel like there's more tensity in season 2. That's why season 2 is by far my favorite season. I already know people are going to disagree with me. I know that for a fact because season 2 is ranked pretty low compared to the other seasons for some reason. And it's a New Frontier too. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys.